All right, guys. Hey, welcome back. So last time we practiced solving some proportions, and today we're going to use some proportions to solve for missing parts of different polygons. In this case, some triangles, but they could be squares or rectangles or trapezoids or whatever. What we're going to do is we're going to use this idea of similar polygons. So two polygons are similar if and only if their corresponding angles are congruent and the measures of their corresponding sides are proportional. What? Yeah, let me tell you what that means. So I've got a couple of triangles here, right? And so when we look at the word corresponding, that means the ones that match up or are kind of the same. In the case of the angles, they need to be exactly the same. In the case of the sides, they need to be proportional, right? So when we talk about proportional or proportions, that means that if you divide the two, you'll get the same thing, although one part might look a little longer than the other part, but then compared with a different part, their ratios are the same. So let's look here at these and kind of describe that. So when I talk about corresponding angles, I got to find the angles that match up. And in this case, we've kind of marked the different angles with some different arcs. This one has 3, 1, and 2. And so I have to match up the angles. This 3 here matches up with this 3 here. It says they're congruent. They're the same. This 2 here matches up with these 2 marks here. That says they're the same. And then 1 here and 1 here. They're the same, right? So in this case, we're showing that the 3 angles on these triangles are the same. And then the sides are going to be proportional. So let's set up a proportion. If we set up a proportion, two ratios that are equal, then we will have proportional sides. That's the way we're going to do it. And so really, we're just solving for x. The questions are going to ask you to solve for a variable, solve for a missing side. And so to do that, we are going to set up a proportion. Remember, our proportion is 2 fractions that are equal. And there's usually a couple different ways you can set up the proportion. There's not one right way, but you should get the same answer. And the key here is just to be consistent, to match up things that are consistent. And so this is how I like to do it. I like to do the side of one polygon over the side, the matching side of the other, and then that's equal to 2 different sides that are the same. Now you can set up the proportion in a few different ways, but just to keep things easy and consistent, let's do it that way, right? So I'm going to start with this guy actually, because here I know all the information, so I can use any side I need to, but over here I'm missing a couple of sides. I don't have that information, so I might be a little limited on what I can use for this problem when it comes to this triangle. So I'm going to start over here, and I have a number here, 15, so I'm going to use it. So I'm going to put this 15 on the top, and then I need to find the matching side over here. And so if I look at the 15, it's between the angle with the 1 arc and the angle with the 2 arc. So I come over here and I find the side that's between the angle with the 1 arc and the 2 arc, that's the 20. 15 on this one matches up with 20 on this guy. And so I'm going to do 15 over 20, corresponding sides. And then I am solving for x, so definitely I need to use that. And so I'm going to pick this side x and match it up with his corresponding side over here. Now x is between the 2 angle and the 3 mark angle. So I come over here between the 2 mark angle and the 3 mark angle. I have this side 16, and I've got my proportion set up. Now, I want to show you a couple of things. When I said be consistent, this is what I mean. Now over here, notice the 15 came from this triangle, and it's on top. And then I put this side on the bottom. So when I write my ratio over on this side, I have to start back over here again. Just like the 15 came from this one and it's on top, the x comes from this one and it's on top. Right? You have to be consistent. You can't put 15 over 20 and then jump back over to here and put 16 on top and over x. That wouldn't be consistent, right? Star triangle on top, star triangle on top, right? You have to be consistent. So at this point though, once you've got your proportion set up, it's pretty easy. We practiced solving proportions last time. Cross multiply, set them equal to each other, and away you go. So let's do that. I'm going to do that one first because that's easy. 20 times x, 20x, set that equal to 15 times 16. 15 times 16, come up with 240. Number next to a letter means times. Opposite of times is divide. Divide by 20 here just leaves x. Sweet. If you do it to one side, got to do it to the other. 2 goes into 24 12 times, so 20 is going to go into 240 12 times. X equals 12. This side equals 12. Right? We could solve for the other side if we needed to. It didn't ask us to, but let's just write a proportion for it just for fun. Let's call that maybe y and see what we would do. So really, we can use part of the same proportion. This 15 over 20 is still true. And then I'm going to set that equal to, let's see, 15 came from the star triangle and it's on top. So I'm going to put y from the star triangle also on top. And what does it match up with? It's between the angle with 1 mark and 3 marks. 1 mark, 3 marks, 12. Y matches up with 12. Got my proportion, cross multiply, solve for y, right? Easy cheesy. So that's what you're going to be doing. You're going to have some different shapes today, but you're going to be solving for missing sides. And what you have to do, just make sure you match up sides, and then put one side and his corresponding side on the other guy, and one side, corresponding side on the other guy. Make sure that you are using the variable because you're looking for that. So make sure one of the sides that you try to match up involves the variable. The other one, you need to have both sides to be able to do that. So you got to find one of the sides that you know on both of them for this part of the proportion. Set it up, cross multiply, solve for x, solve for y, easy cheesy. So good luck, and let me know if you have any questions.